Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Emo Social Club podcast, broadcasting to you live on emosocialclub.tv. We have a guest today. I see this like weird, like ha 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 ha, like intro. Just trying to build anticipation, you know. Our guest today is Brompton Jackson of the band Wilmette. From Wilmette? Are you from Wilmette? Is it from Wilmette?
No. The band is based in Sleepy Hollow, but I'm in Chicago. So I'm like 45 minutes away from them, an hour away from them.
Okay. Yeah. Why would you not name the band Sleepy Hollow then?
So it's actually, it's like an old skate video, like an old local skate video, I think. It was called Wilmette, and that's what it's named after.
Okay, so not the town in Illinois.
When I was like trying to do more research on the band, it was like Wilmette band, like their actual like orchestra band that like plays outside and everything. No, this is not what I'm looking for.
I was like, every time I was putting up an ad, it's like, we're talking to Brompton of Wilmette. It's like not just a guy from Wilmette. Like it's a band. It's fine.
The whole ass band.
That'd be pretty interesting if I was just a guy from Wilmette, just kind of getting my insights on what's going on in the pop punk music scene, having not been in the music scene. That would be hilarious.
What do you think of this? Oh yeah,
here's your outsider spicy thing. Let me know what's going on over here real quick.
Exactly. Well, Brompton, tell us about the band. Tell us about. I mean, you were telling us a little bit about how you got into the band and all that, but. Yeah, explain the band to us. Explain this pop punk to us. What is it? Okay. I sound like I'm 87 years old, but yeah.
That's your general age range anyway, Brian.
It really is.
What is this newfangled pop punk that these kids are listening to? Word. All right. I mean, we're just a couple of dudes. I mean, they're all from Sleepy Hollow and like the kind of northwestern suburbs of Chicago. They all went to like school together and stuff. I knew Peyton because I used to work with him. And then, I'm in a couple other bands. So like we've played shows together and stuff. And it just kind of all fell together. Everything just kind of fell into place. And now here I am in the band. It's pretty cool being in the band because like I loved their first two records. Like just as a friend and a fan. So like, it's pretty cool to, be able to play those songs and perform with them and stuff like that. So I'm pretty grateful that they kind of let me tag along.
Join the band. And you're like, yeah, let's go guys.
Let's do it.
So Wilmette was actually one of the last bands I saw before quarantine at the, that random house show that I walked in and I felt like I was 40 years old in this atmosphere because it was at God, I forgot what the name of the venue was, but it was down on the south side of the city, right off the Kedzie Pink Line. I think it was.
Was it at yeah. That was like Inside Town. Was it Inside Town?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I definitely was pretty amped to finally see it, like Wilmette, because I have also listened to the music for a while too, and I just never had seen y'all live. So I was super excited. And when I always see people post on Twitter like, "Oh, who was the last bands or bill that you saw before quarantine?" Like, the silly like, "This is who you would like, be stuck in a house in." And I'm like, well, it seems like it'd be fine. It seems like it would all hit off.
Honestly, like if you were stuck in a house with us, everybody would just Aaron and Aiden would just be playing RuneScape. Peyton would just be playing Skater XL, making like videos. I don't know. Griffin's a wild card. Griffin could be doing anything. He definitely have a beer though. Yeah. I would just kind of, I don't know. I would just be watching like HGTV. I'm also old, so.
Yeah.
Listen, I watch HGTV too. Actually, which HGTV show though is your fave?
I gotta say, Love It or List It, man. That's
really?
a good show. It's a good show.
Ooh.
There's like an element of competition to it. Whatever. We don't have to talk about that. This is really showing my age. Let's not.
Here's the thing is like, I totally get it. Like, I'm like, no, I don't even own a house. I own, I have no property that I can really do much with, but I'm watching it and I just go, yeah, that's awesome. I want to do that. And then, you just sit on your couch all day watching other people build and make things. And you're like, yeah, I could do that. And then never do any of it.
Or you're just like, God, you guys are idiots. You're not using the space appropriately. And the flow of this room is all off. And
It's like tear down this wall and like nobody's tearing down the wall. And then you're like, why did it cost $50,000 to tear down that fucking wall? That's so stupid.
Right. Exactly.
Mike,
also 90 Day Fiance. I fuck with 90 Day Fiance.
Yeah. We actually talk quite a bit about that.
Yeah, we do.
Right.
For some reason it keeps coming up on our podcast here, and I'm like, yeah, good. It's a great show.
Because it's great. It's just all these crazy trash people. Yeah. And it just makes me feel so much better about myself and my life.
It's American monsters ruining people from other countries.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, who's your favorite 90 Day Fiance couple, though?
The ones that I want to work out, or the ones that I hate the most and love to watch?
Oh man, why not both?
All right, so I gotta say, like, the person that I hate the most on that show is what's her, Nicole. She was on like 90 Days the Other Way, where like she went to Morocco with Azin. Yeah, and like all she ate is like mac and cheese and chicken tenders, and I'm like, bitch, what the fuck? You're in Morocco right now. He's not gonna get you mac and cheese and chicken tenders. Stop complaining. And so that's probably that's one of them for sure.
Fucking worst.
Also, what the fuck, Colt and what's her face?
Oh, Colt and Larissa, or Colt and the other chick?
Well, Colt and Larissa, because Larissa is insane.
There's no doubting that. The fact that she has spent like more than what we would spend on an HGTV home renovation on herself is insane.
Yeah, that's insane to me. That's insane. I could never.
The fact that Colt was in our city with that one chick, I was like, no, you got to leave. When they're like Fulton and Mark, I'm like, no, we got to get out of here.
Please leave. Just please leave. Yeah.
I don't want to see them on the streets. I remember watching the episodes with Nicole and Azan, and then like right after that we were watching Lisa, and it was like a hip hop artist from Baby Girl Lisa, and I was like,
oh my God.
I was like, this is just older Nicole. This is just Nicole when it didn't work out with like this. These are literally the same person. It's just like two different timelines of the same person, like acting the same way, treating these guys like shit, like just having all these like requirements, not spending any time understanding their culture or their religion or any background. Just like, yeah, I need you to give me. I'm a strong, independent woman from Florida who needs this. And I'm like, no,
you know who's a strong, independent woman from Florida, despite how insane she kind of is Angela.
Yeah, Angela's crazy though, but Michael just keeps fucking up, so I don't really know what.
It's like I feel like you're valid in some of your outbursts here, like just a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit.
It's scary when you start to feel like some of the crazy people on that show are being very they're valid. Their opinions and their thoughts are becoming very reasonable, and you're like, wait, hold on.
Well, it's because the whole like idea of the situation is just it's just insane. So the whole concept of I'm going to meet this person and then I'm going to spend 90 days with them and then I'm going to get married and spend the rest of my life with them. Mm-hmm. And even if I don't get married and spend the rest of my life with them, I'm legally responsible for them for 10 years. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know these people.
Yeah.
At all. And I mean, even if they're from like another first world country, like you just as a person, you don't know them. And like they could literally just be insane.
Yeah.
And just fuck up your entire life. Your whole ass life.
There's some people though where I'm like, just you going through this process with this specific human individual, you kind of deserve the green card. You've earned it. Like
Right.
If this is what you're willing to go through just to come into this country, please come here. You seem better than the citizens of this country, according to this show.
Right. You're definitely better than the person who's sponsoring you. So how about you just switch places? Let's just,
We're just going to do this and move them here and you stay here.
It's more trading places than 90 Day Fiance.
That's cool. Shit, that'd be cool.
It's like trading spaces. It's fine. It's just real.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about your band.
Yeah, let's do that, because they're going to be like, what the fuck? You just talked about HGTV and 90 Day Fiance the whole time.
Yeah,
listen.
It'd be like, guys, it's really important. Listen, it's like it's like the prime shows we watch.
Yeah. Let the fans know your other interests, your outside interests, and they'll be like, yeah, I also like that. And let's listen to your music.
Maybe you'll have an HGTV 90 Day Fiance, music video inspo. I don't know.
Ooh.
I don't know.
That would be really interesting.
Yeah.
That'd be hard to pull off, but that would be really interesting.
Well, you did do a space music video, so you were able to pull that off at least.
That was a crazy time, actually. We went to Michigan and filmed it at the Silver Lake Sand Dunes. And I don't know if you've ever been there, but like it's literally just like 9-story high dunes of sand. And there's no stairs or anything. So you're just like climbing up this hill of loose sand. And like it's pretty precarious. Like you could just fall and just bust your shit. And so like, yeah, we're like climbing up these stairs and we finally get to the top. And then of course, like it's just like a hill of sand. So there's no shade. There's no like anything. So we're like literally just there in like these spacesuits for like 3 hours. And it was like 90 degrees.
Wow.
Ooh.
So like that was wild.
Oh man. I mean, the music video looks really cool, so there's that out of it.
Yeah. It's work.
I mean, it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome. The experience was great. Super cool. Alex Zarek did a good job on the video. So I mean, that was like, it was just like we worked with him a lot. It was like a super easy thing. Like he just drove up with us. So it was almost like we got to do like a little like weekend run tour type experience, because we just drove to Michigan, did what we were doing, and then drove back. But I mean, yeah, it's definitely tour vibes in the van. So that was cool. Because we missed that.
I was about to say, and you said earlier before we hopped on that you didn't even get to tour with Wilmette, but you're hanging, you're sticking around, so that's also cool. So I guess you had one somewhat experience in that way to an extent.
Yeah. I mean, I've known like certain people for years, so I mean, it's not like a weird thing, being the new guy. But yeah, I mean, that was cool. When we definitely had a bunch of things planned that got ruined thanks to COVID. But yeah, I mean, so did everybody else. So it's cool. We'll just pick up right where we left off once everything goes back to normal, or normal-ish. Whatever the new normal will be.
Yeah.
Normal is everybody moshing with face mask on and then hoping that nobody, God forbid, loses them in the pit.
Yeah.
Yep. Maybe everybody's going to wear the shields instead.
I feel like that'd be more. I feel like that would be effective. But I feel like people would get hurt a lot more too. But granted, if somebody's punching you in the face, at least you got that protection there a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah, no, for sure.
An elbow to the shield.
Yeah, you won't come home and be like, I got a black eye, and you're like, no, you just little.
No,
little
Mom,
dent.
I was fully protected in the pit. Don't you worry. Your kid did good. I'm safe.
I had
in the
all
pit.
the PPE.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, what kind of? I don't know specifically what your plans were for COVID, but obviously you had a tour plan. Then you had like a whole a run planned.
Oh, there's like 3 or 4 leading all the way up into like now-ish. We had all of that planned out, so that's not happening.
Yeah.
But it was. We're lucky that a lot of it was like in the early stages, so it wasn't like we put like crazy amounts of time and work into getting everything set up. But I mean, you know, we definitely had like date ranges set up and like like general vicinities. We were talking to people to set up packages and stuff like that. So, you know, it was all, there's a lot of moving parts. Everything was going like we were definitely like going forward with everything. But you know, it is what it is. That's just kind of how it is now. So it's fine. The record came out. People seem to be digging it. I love it. So it's cool. We recorded it in quarantine, so that was kind of cool too.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's because I know a lot of people had like their albums or EPs like pre-planned out, and then they put them on hold until to release them. But you guys recorded in quarantine. Were you just like doing it virtually, or were you like, you know, socially distanced, hanging out, or were you like, all right, guys, we're quarantined together, we're bros till we die here?
We pretty much spent we were like all pretty much quarantined before we got together and went to the studio, and then we were only with each other and the engineer pretty much for 12 days. So it was like a little bubble.
Yeah.
It was like our own little bubble.
Band in a bubble, like Cartel.
Right. There you go. Yeah. So yeah, so I mean it was cool. It was great to, you know, be able to, you know, keep that plan, because obviously time had been booked and everything for quite some time. So we were able to make it work, and we were actually able to get the record out like on schedule. So that was pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, and then you said earlier you worked with Alex Zarek. So I feel like we've interviewed at least like half of our guests have worked with Alex Zarek, and we've never talked to this man in our life.
I've talked to him, and he's super friendly. He invited me to come out if I ever wanted to like check out. He shot some videos for like really good friends of mine from college, and I was hanging out with them and like chatting with them. And then he was he's just been getting around with all these bands, and I'm like, dude, how is this one guy like running the entire Chicago music video scene? But
you know, I've asked myself that. I mean, I'm stoked because like good dude. So you know, good for him. He's got like a good business going and everything. So that's cool. It is really confusing because like there's a couple other people, but I mean most of the time it's Derek.
Most of
the time it's Derek. Yeah, and I mean, well, the thing is that like it's nice because he is really easy to work with, and his turnaround time is like insane. It's super quick. Like that dude like just works. Like that's his entire existence. So like it's you know, it's cool. And I mean, he's a cool dude to hang out with. So like,
yeah. And his videos are really good. Like I haven't really seen any videos where I'm like, oh, that one didn't look good. You know, like he's putting out good quality, and if he's easy to work with and he's local, like that, sometimes that makes all the difference. It's like, hey, we want to work with you. Like, look at what you've done for all of these other bands in our area. So of course, now I'm just like, man, we got to get him on the podcast. But every time we talk to a band, it's like, you know, let's just talk to all the people around you. Let's never talk to you individually. Let's never actually have him on and just talk to all the bands that work with him. So he's like, man.
And then that's how I had to do like a class project like that when I was an undergrad. And it was like interview everybody else, but not the main person you're going to do a profile piece on. And then you're just going to write about it and hope it like is complimentary enough and like, you know, gives the idea and image of this person. I feel like this has already been done for Mr. Alex Zarek here.
Yeah.
That's like really interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely a different way of writing, and it was very interesting. I did find out the person I did it for actually started Cornerstone Music Festival, and he was like the dean of like student activities at my undergrad college, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm into Christian rock." I'm like, "Oh, this is a lot."
Oh boy.
No shit. All right. Every time I think of Cornerstone, I just think of like Old Devil Wears Prada and Under Oath and like yeah.
I remember Flyleaf was always there, and I'm like, wait, Flyleaf? My Flyleaf? A Christian band? All around me? I'm so sick. I was like, I had no idea, and then found that out, and I'm like, oh, okay. Now I'm starting to put some pieces together.
You're hearing it, and you're like, oh, this is kind of Jesus.
Yeah.
Right.
A buddy of mine actually played one year with this band that he is filling in guitar for them, who they were very, very much a Christian band. Like it was all like, that was the main focus of it. And they went and played, and he was like, I was scared. It was scary. Everybody's just so like intensely religious at a music festival. So I'm like, okay, if I'm at a metal show and everybody's intense, everybody's like just metal as they can be and trying to show off how metal they are. I can only imagine it's that way, but with
everybody's trying to out Christian everybody else.
Oh
yeah,
my God.
yeah. Like
Somebody says, "Oh my God," during a breakdown, and they're like,
no, it's gosh. It's like if you're at a show and all the bands are like, you know, it's a local show and no one's really there. It's small audiences. At least this is my experience.
When was the last time you were at a local DIY show, Brian?
When I played them, that was it.
Hey man, you got to support the scene. Come on.
I tried to. I did.
I mean, you can't right now, but I mean, you know.
Yeah.
I support the scene, and I'm glad they're doing what they're doing over there.
When there's like a safe local show that comes back, I'm taking him with me, and I don't care if it's in the middle of the week like it was last time.
We always, because you always tell me about these local shows, like the one that you saw them at, and I'm like, yeah, I should go to that, but then I'm on my couch and I'm tired and lazy, and I have a Switch, and I'm like, I'm going to play Animal Crossing instead. I know it's not an excuse. Right now, I have the best excuse. It's like I can be tired all the time and no one can stop me. Yes. So I do try to support the scene, but I also know that it's tough when you get older because you're like, what is this new music that people are vibing to? What is this pop punk why do they hate their town so much? When I was a kid.
I know you mentioned that you're into other bands here. What are those two other bands? Because I'm curious.
I'm in a band called Knockout Kid, and I'm in a band called Action Adventure as well.
That's where I've seen you.
Yeah, Action Adventure. That name's familiar to me.
Yes. I was at that. I was talking with Nina last week about the Township Halloween show.
Oh, the one where we covered Fall Out Boy?
Yeah, because Take This to Your Grave is my favorite Fall Out Boy album. I'm like, I gotta go, so I went. That's where I've seen you then.
That was interesting. That was fun. That was fun.
Yeah, there's not going to be any like Halloween cover shows this year.
I know. I'm like super bummed. Like I was already like planning things.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to pitch to all the bands. Like, yo, we should do this. Or we should do that. Like I love Halloween cover shows. So
yeah, so much fun.
What were some of your ideas? Were you gonna like try to revive the Fall Out Boy or be crazy?
I've always wanted to do like Yellow Card.
Mm.
I've always wanted to do a Yellow Card set. I've always wanted to do a 4 Year Strong set. I've always wanted to do. I also always wanted to do a Cartel set. That would be sick.
That would be sick.
Brian would go. I'd force him to go.
I'd go to a Cartel show.
I've also always wanted to do the Starting Line set.
Oh yes.
Now you got Lizzie coming too.
I would go either way, Brian.
I know.
So yeah, I mean, there's tons of ideas. I also like would love to do. I don't know. I could dip into like metalcore too. We could just completely change genres. Like I've done Every Time I Die cover sets before, so like that was cool. I would totally do another one. That would be amazing.
I'll definitely be at that one.
that was fun. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I've always been much more of like the metalcore hardcore kid than the pop punk kid, and now I'm like getting way more into pop punk, but I'm still like, I just want to go to a metal show.
I feel that. I mean, it's cool. Just listen to the new Wilmette album because there's breakdowns. So.
Yeah, there's some good spicy breakdowns in there.
Yeah, Griffin did a really good job with those breakdowns, man. Like that was just insane. I just remember like listening back like to like after like in the studio after everything was like edited and just like hearing some of the breakdowns hit, and we were just like, oh my God, what the fuck? Yeah, it's awesome.
What were then some of the influences going into the record? Like, was it to be heavy? I'm always wondering where like the pop punk kind of diverges and gets like all those other influences in it, like the breakdowns and the Fall Out Boy riffs and I think Fall Out Boy is like the best at like taking those like metal riffs and putting them over like pop punk from back in the day. And then people were like, we can go even more intense than this.
So, I mean, I guess it's different for everyone. Like I spoke with Griffin about it like at length. And it's really funny because like Griffin's not like a metalcore guy. Like he loves like The Story So Far and Citizen, and like he's like I mean, he's got a pretty eclectic taste in music, but yeah, he's not like really a metalcore guy. And it was just funny because like I think the whole goal was just to write a Wilmette record. So it was just like, what do we sound like?
Gotcha.
What would be like the natural progression like after Anxious Body? And so this is pretty much, this is what we landed on. I mean, it's like, I think it's pretty much spot on. And so, I mean, like, it's like Griffin, like, just killed it. Absolutely amazing with a lot of the stuff that he wrote. And just mad respect for him just being able to just like shit out some of the things that he did. Like, there were some things that we wrote in the studio and stuff. Like a lot of it was kind of taken care of like before we went into the studio, obviously. But then, there were some things that were just everybody like bouncing ideas off of each other and stuff. And so it was just like a really good vibe. And I think that it just kind of, we landed on a sound that was very like, this is what we all wanted. This is kind of, it ended up translating from like how it was in everybody's heads, like into, I guess on the paper, not really on the paper, but like into our fingers, the way that it should have. So
the way you're like, it's in here and I want to put it out there.
Exactly.
The same exact way somehow.
Exactly. So yeah, it's just really, it's really good. Like working with Griffin and learning the songs and stuff like that. Like it actually made me better at guitar. So that was cool. Learning, just always trying to learn new things. So like that was great. So yeah, it's a good experience. And I think that it's just kind of there's a lot of different influences. Like I have tons of different influences than, Griffin has. Like I love The Story So Far too, but I wouldn't necessarily, like the way that he incorporated like some things that they do into what we did on this record was really like really impressive and interesting. And so that was like really cool to see as well.
Yeah, I've definitely heard like a good mix, and you can hear, and from Anxious Body and to the new EP, like the progression of sound. So that's like really cool to know that was like your guys' original intent with it. Because I mean, I at least also feel that when you have more of those heavy like breakdowns and some metalcore riffs, that's kind of normal in some sense with a lot of like more pop punk bands these days. And it's something that I feel like a lot of people enjoy and kind of anticipate to a certain extent now too. It's like, hey, like, where's a sick drop? Like, I want to be able to like go proverbially and like, fuck shit up.
Right. No, I feel that for sure. Absolutely. And I mean, like when I'm listening to music, like honestly, like it's just a journey to the breakdown for me. How good is the breakdown? And how did I get to said breakdown?
Yeah.
So that's, yeah, I feel that for sure. Absolutely. 100%.
I like that journey down to the breakdown. It's like a Wizard of Oz, like you're on the Yellow Brick Road, to see Oz, and you're like, no, let's do the fucking breakdown.
And then all of a sudden, just like, yeah.
And that's why I like when the breakdown just kind of comes out of nowhere, because you're like, just on this path, you're just kind of going down this road, and then just all of a sudden it's like boom, it just like hits you, and then it just leaves. It's almost like a hit and run, and then it just kind of leaves, and then like you have to just finish the rest of the song. Sometimes there's a second breakdown, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Huge supporter and proponent of breakdowns in pop punk. Absolutely. Good. But they can't just be like regular boring, just like chug. Like there has to be like some tact to it. So
yeah, it's a special type of breakdown in pop punk, because it's got to be catchy. It's still got to have like that I don't know, the melodic sense to it. It's not just like anger and like low tuned strings and like aggression. It's more like the melody, and then it's getting everybody sort of jumping up and down, and like Lizzie would throw elbows at people's masks in the pit. So
that's what's up.
Yeah.
See?
That's what we want.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I want. So that's great.
Yeah.
That's
so then
great.
and then you like stop moshing and you're like, yeah, singing along, whatever it is.
Well, yeah, because you go from the elbows to like the finger point.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, and then you're like, yeah, and then I have my inhaler in my hand. I'm like, yeah, finger point, take a hit, my inhaler. All right, let's go back.
Hey, I feel that too. I've been asthmatic for 31 years, so there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. How do you handle that? How do you handle that on stage? Because I've always been curious.
Oh, I
because
just take it.
I'm
I just
jumping
take
around,
it
I'm like,
before.
okay.
I just take my inhaler like right before we play, and then I just deal with whatever happens. So whatever happens, and as long as I can get through whatever that song is, like we're good. Because then I can always just take it again if I need to.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I've always wondered because I know I saw Tyler the Creator at Lala and he had like his inhaler in his hand and he was just taking hits of it as he was jumping up and down. I'm like, now does everybody do this? Or is that
like that's what you got to do? I literally have it sitting like I have on top of my head behind me. I have like 2 or 3 extra picks in case I drop one, as well as my inhaler and my phone.
Yeah.
Okay. We're thinking ahead here. We're thinking ahead.
So that's pretty much that's like the amp top layout. And if I have to, I'll just grab it and just like real quick. You probably wouldn't even notice.
Yeah.
So.
It's that quick hit. And it's like
just real quick.
We're good guys.
Let's get back. The party's hopping. I gotta get back. I gotta get back
Exactly.
out there. Everybody's having a good time.
Exactly.
When you mentioned that you were a fan of the band for their last 2 records, was this then the first time you recorded any music with them?
Yeah, this was the first time that I was actually involved in the process. So that was cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, they were like super great and welcoming, and it wasn't like weird being the new guy or anything like that. So that was just a good experience. But yeah, this is the first time that I was involved in that. That being said, I had to learn all the old songs, and then I didn't actually get to ever play them. So that was fun.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Yeah, because
like, who's gonna hear my sick riffs, guys?
But my riffs. I'm curious about that because it sounds interesting to be like the new guy coming into, a band that's put out already a couple pieces of music, and obviously being a fan of theirs and being, talented enough to learn their songs and all that. It's like, yeah, I can sort of fill that role, but what is it like going into then a writing situation with them? Was it that they were interested to see how that sound evolved now that you were a part of it, or were they more thinking like, hey, we're just going to like give you some parts that you're going to play, or how was the collaboration there?
So it was pretty cool. Griffin had a lot of it done, most of it. And then he was like, here's everything. If you have any ideas, let's go for it and see how it all sounds. And so, I mean, it was really good. So there was a lot of stuff where I was just like, yeah, I don't really have anything to change. Like there's some like, there are like little leads here and there that I just added that are more for like layering purposes. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of that was like just in like off the cusp, like in the studio.
Yeah.
Like I think this would sound cool layered with this, or like little harmonies and stuff. But I mean, like a lot of it was like conceptual as like a whole. Mm-hmm. That was a lot of where the collaboration, at least on my part, was. So like, kind of. Maybe we should extend this part and then, cut down this part, like just actual song structure things and stuff like that. So that was cool. And of course, like I said, like everybody was open to everybody's ideas, and it was really like just very relaxed. It didn't feel like I was stepping on anybody's toes or anything like that. And so that was like, it was just a great experience. It was awesome.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Cause I know it's been tough in the past sometimes, I think, with bands that like bring in new people and have it already running, and they're like, yo, just hang out. But then it's like, yeah, good to know that like, it's nice to see a band that wants to evolve with the people that are a part of it. And it sort of brings you into like that band more.
Absolutely.
You're like, everybody in this makes up the band. It's not just like 1 or 2 people. And it's like, we're making this new version of whatever it is with these people that we have currently. So yeah, I like that.
I think it's also it's funny because like being like the new guy, if for some reason, which I never ever thought it would, but if for some reason this record failed, in the eyes of everyone, it would have been my fault.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh, yeah, you're
So
right.
that's like a stressor that is often overlooked. But then, like, you know, it's fine. It's a great record. Like I said, like multiple times, like Griffin did a fantastic job.
Mhm.
Peyton and Aaron and Aiden all did a fantastic job. Like everybody, like nails all of their parts. Like it was just great. It was great.
Good.
It's good, and you know, nobody has to blame you for anything, which is even better.
Yeah, I mean that's cool. You know, if they did, fuck it. Whatever. I don't care. It's, whatever. But
because
yeah,
I'm putting on the blocking out the hater shades, and that's about
well,
it.
it's just, you know, it's nice not being hated. So that's that's good. That's
It'd
good.
be like Skiba joining Blink and being like, well, it's Skiba's fault that they're writing bad music. And it's like, no, it's not.
You know, here's the thing. I don't even think necessarily that it's bad music per se. It's just not what everybody wants from Blink-182. And I think that people need to understand that they're fucking 30 years older than they were when Enema came out.
Yeah.
You know, like, dude, you're not fucking jerking off in your parents' basement anymore.
Yeah.
Like you're millionaires and you have completely different outlooks on life. So like it's gonna be different, you know?
Yeah.
Like so like I don't know, I get it. Like I never would have expected them to come out with like Take Off Your Pants and Jacket 2.
Right.
That's not gonna happen ever.
I do think they could have come out with the self-titled too.
Yeah, maybe. I feel like they're in that whole like kind of mixing genres and production styles and stuff like that, and they're doing a lot more electronic stuff in the music, and so I don't know if they necessarily would ever go back to something that raw sounding and raw feeling.
Right.
But definitely like if you look at Neighborhoods, like it makes sense where they are now or like where they're going now.
Gotcha.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
I've never listened to Neighborhood, so that might also be why I don't get it.
You missed a big step there, dude. You missed a big step.
That's like a huge thing.
Yeah.
That's like you have like the main like step landing, and then you just try to like, well, you have like weird long lanky bony legs, and you're just like moving like, ugh. And then you just kind of make it. But then you're like, oh, I kind of like move my hips weird, and I'm not having a great time, but I skipped it, and it's okay, and I kind of get it. It's like that.
I chose to leap over and figure out where they came from instead of figuring out where they were going along the path. But I feel fine with that. I feel okay about it.
I mean, there's enough old Blink to keep me satisfied.
Yeah. I have been listening to the Untitled record like twice this week already. That's it. Today, Tuesday? Yeah, all right. Yeah, 2 days. Yeah. Actually, since Sunday. I was listening to it Sunday. That's when. There you go. Yes, Lizzie, you continue.
Oh, wow.
We talk about Blink-182 far too much on this podcast.
We've been having a way too much Blink-182 discourse the last few episodes, and I don't understand why.
I mean, they like started a genre almost, so like, I get it. Or we're not the very beginning, but like at the forefront of the beginning of a genre. So like, I get it, especially if you're talking to somebody like in our scene, or like just in any sort of like adjacent scene, like they're a huge band, so I get why they would come up. It makes sense.
Yeah, everybody has an opinion too. It's like, hey, where do you fall on this issue? Where do you fall on this side of things? So it's always like a good thing of like, so what do you think about this, or what do you think they should do, or what do you think it sounds like that? So it's always interesting to get everybody's opinion on it too.
Right.
But do you have any like new music you're listening to, Brompton, at all? Despite, Blink-182 discourse.
Yeah. So I've honestly been listening to a lot of metalcore recently.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Spirit Box has some new-ish. I mean, they had a song come out in like June, and then they just re-released it because they signed to Rise. But they re-released it and did a guest spot with Rio from Crystal Lake, so that was cool. The new Alpha Wolf record is really, really good. Like, it's pretty cool because they're just calling out all the toxicity in the metalcore scene.
Oh, good.
So like it's actually like really well written, and like it's a bunch of diss tracks, and it's pretty cool. I pretty much, since the day it came out, so what, February 28th or 29th, I've listened to Brain Pain, like the 4 Year Strong record, like every single day all the way through. So like that's something.
A daily routine.
Yeah, pretty much. Sometimes multiple times a day. It's a masterpiece. Yeah, I mean, just a lot of other stuff. The Halsey record was actually really good. So that was cool when her shit came out.
I like your surprised face there. You're like, really? Halsey? I feel the same way about you. I'm not a big Halsey fan to begin with.
I'm not like a crazy. I don't really listen to pop music, but like, I'll if people are like, oh my god, this record is so good, I will definitely give it a shot. And so it was cool. I mean, the best thing she's ever done was the verse on the MGK track.
I was like,
we're all in great unison about that.
Yeah.
Because that's like honestly the only good part about that entire record. So
yeah. Oh, the only thing.
Wow, that's a spicy take.
I definitely think it's the top thing. I definitely think it's the best thing on that record.
My issue with that record isn't that it's necessarily like bad. It's just like really overrated, and it's basically he just took two genres and watered them down to the point where he could do something that just kind of made everybody happy-ish.
Yeah.
And so like it's just like really like the songs are okay. Like if you look at it in terms of of like a good song being something that's catchy and like is stuck in your head at times, like yeah, that's pretty good. As someone who would really like to see the genre of pop punk like progress and go back to like where it was, I think that it's kind of not well written because there's like zero technicality to it.
Sure.
But I mean, it's Machine Gun Kelly, so I don't really know. I don't know like how good he is at music, so I don't know like what So like that might be like an unfair expectation. But what I will say is I think it's amazing that he wrote the record, that it's in this genre, what he's doing for the genre as a whole. I think it's so cool that a pop punk record was like #1 on the Billboard chart for like the first time in like decades.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I mean, like, that's super cool. That could get a whole bunch of people, like, it's very, like, entry-level pop punk-ish music. So, like...
It's kind of like a new opening for, like, usually kids like listen to pop punk. Right, and be like, hey, this is stuff that people still make and listen to. It's new and different, but there's also more things to come if you venture further into it.
Right, so it's a good, like, gateway entry into the genre. So it's really cool because like it can get people like into bands that they might never have even considered checking out before.
Yeah.
So like that's like super cool.
I remember back in the day when like Rihanna and there was another artist, but they like started to put a lot more guitars in their music because bands like My Chem and Fall Out Boy and Hawthorne Heights were on TRL, and it's like I see this is like it's this transition into this sound that's now becoming more popular because these bands are getting more popular. So I'm wondering if like MGK is going to be that like catalyst that brings everybody to want to do more of that type of music.
It's really funny when you think about like how genres change, because like if you look at like a lot of progressive music, like progressive metal, you have like Dream Theater. And like, I guess a new version of Dream Theater would be like Periphery and stuff. And I mean, those are like obviously not deep cuts. So anybody watching, I could definitely go into that conversation more. But let's just use those two as like as an example. Yeah. So like, those are like kind of like the way that like kind of metal is going. And then you have bands that are just as technical, like Chan and Polyphia, and like Chan, who's just making like this crazy good math rock that's like more jazz influenced, and like there's just so much going on there. And then like you have Polyphia, who used to be kind of like just a slightly heavier version of Chan, but now they're basically making beats with their instruments. And it's like the craziest thing. And I mean, I love Polyphia. I think it's like super cool what they're doing. And it's just crazy how like, because, and it has to be because of the like ease of availability of music on the internet, but like everybody is just like the lines of genres are just beginning to blur. They used to be like super defined, and everything is just kind of starting to blur. And it's almost like genetics. Like if you take two people from different races, right, and they have a kid, they're going to have the dominant genes and technically be a better human being than if you were to mate with like just the same race. It's like the same thing with music genres, because you're going to get all the best parts of each genre, bleeding over into whatever the new thing is going to be. And it's very exciting for music. What a time to be alive.
What a time.
That's so reassuring to hear, because I know at least on like Twitter, there's a lot of like the emo gatekeepers, as I like to call them, who are like, MPK is so gross, and like, how could you do this to like emo and say it's emo, it's sacrilege, all that kind of bullshit stuff. And I'm like,
but he's literally crying about girlfriends and cocaine addictions. Like that's actually what. It's the same shit.
It's the same shit.
It's the same thing. It's just he's rapping a bit. I don't know what else you guys want. It's like the same thing when you go in and they're like, well, Fall Out Boy isn't real emo. Right to Spring is real. It's like everyone's crying about the same fucking thing at the end of the day, okay? One of them is a little bit more jumpy. That's it.
Yeah. One of them gets the crowd moving and the other one gets them not moving, swaying in the audience, holding their beers,
right,
thinking about stuff. Trying to look cool, arms at your sides, stand against the back wall. I don't know. That's not what I do, but it is totally like, I don't like to get in the crowd and be attacked. I like to be comfortable.
It depends on who's playing or what's happening, because I might come out of pit retirement, but for the most part, I'm like the old guy with the beer. Maybe not in the back, but like, not in the middle of the pit.
Yeah.
Somewhere maybe I'll be like on the front edge, or something. I don't know. I'm still like vibing and like having, I'm still in it. But yeah, my knees can't do it anymore, man. I got bad knees.
Yeah, I just don't want to spill my drink. Like if I'm holding a beer, I'm like, no, this is my beer. I want to drink it. I want to have the whole thing. I've spent $24 on it.
I want my $9 Bud Light.
Yeah.
12-ounce can.
Don't take it away from me with your dancing. Don't bump into me. I'll spill.
I'll spill all over you, and then nobody's going to have a good time.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to spill on you. And then they're like, is that a real accent? And I go, no, I made it up, so you leave me alone.
No, that happened to one of my friends. I forgot what show we were at, but I lost her in the pit. And we were at Matt and Kim, and she's like, we're all like rolling around in the pit, and then she bumps into somebody, spills a little bit of her, and he spills her beer on her a little bit. She's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Let me give you a drink of it. And then like pours it in her mouth and then just sends her back out. I was like, what is going on here?
No. I hope as part of our new normal after COVID, that is the kind of shit that never happens again.
I know. Like she explained it to me. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about any of that.
Anyway, about combining genres together. Yeah, I do. I think it goes a lot of different ways where like it's more of rock influenced by more hip hop or more pop music. And then it's like kind of the other way around too, like with the emo rap and stuff. But there's a part of me that just feels like, when you're in a band and you're like writing new stuff and maybe you're like coming up with what the band is going to be anyway, you're thinking, well, we want to do something that people will like. And if this is popular, we're going to do that because it's it's popular. This is what's on the radio all the time. These are the bands we listen to. So I don't know. I kind of wonder, and I hope that it's not like, it's still what's going to be popular is like straight hip hop or old bands or Halsey pop music, which that's fine. I like Halsey quite a bit, but it's like, what is it? Is it gonna, even though it's being created, is that more of like an indie scene sort of thing? Is that more of like smaller artists get to experiment and then bigger artists get to like take it from that experiment? Like, did MGK steal from emo rap? Did MGK steal from Blink-182? Did Travis Barker just give him all the secrets and say, do this, you'll be popular? And it worked.
Well, I think there's a lot of, that's such a loaded question, man.
I know. Listen, I'm trying to get secrets here from me. Like, if I ever get to work with Travis Barker, I'll be like,
actually,
you just make it for
the
me.
only thing that you need, the secret weapon, is just young blood. They're just going to hand you over him and be like, here you go.
Young blood, just feature on every song and it'll be fine.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, it's funny because you could have asked this an hour ago and we could have had this just a conversation about this.
Yeah, I know. You got 5 minutes. No, I'm kidding.
No, we have as long as you want to go for it, so you're good.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, it's just one of those things where like there's so many different factors. Image is a huge thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of bigger bands like have people ghostwrite for them.
Mm-hmm.
People who like are very like prolific and wrote other songs that everybody likes. So I mean, that's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and then you can also think about like a lot of other bands are all like super close together and like they're front like bigger bands, and so like their music all starts to kind of sound a little bit similar because they're all like, man, I have this track and I just don't know. And then, their homie who's vocalist or writer in another band would be like, oh yeah, maybe try this. And then it's like, everybody's collaborating and stuff.
Yeah.
And so, really, I think like the only way for anybody to like kind of transcend the level that they're at is just doing something that works and then working really, really hard at it. That's kind of it. Because until you get to that next level to open that door to all of those other new people and new resources, you're pretty much, where you're at. You gotta figure out how to get to that next level, and that's it. There's a lot of gatekeeping, as you said before.
Yeah.
So
certainly
it's just kind of one of those. It's just one of those unfortunate things, and hopefully, we're kind of going in a direction where there's not as much gatekeeping. I know there's like pushes for a lot more diversity in a lot of genres, and so I think that's really cool. And I think that younger generations are doing a lot of, or are going to do, and they're starting to do a lot of like really good and cool things in trying to make sure that like everything is a lot more inclusive and that everything is, try to progress and move forward instead of just kind of being stuck in like, these toxic scenes, like where there's all this crazy shit happening behind the scenes. And it's just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why, what happened to just like, let me just go play a show. I don't want to have to worry about like, all the other random things. Like I just want to go play this show and, hang out with people and sell some merch and then go to the next place. Like, so I think that eventually we'll be able to get back to that, but now there's so many like other random little things that you got to worry about. And it's just like, it's a lot. Like I said, it's a really loaded question. It's like hard to not just go on a crazy tangent.
No, it's fine.
But,
I'm always curious about, I don't know, songwriting, but also the scene and like how people are perceiving. Like, I remember back in the day, like everybody hated pop music. It was just like, that's not part of our music. That is part of that music. We are rock music. We are trying to like fight that. This is like when I was in high school and shit. And it was just very hard to like find your community because you were like, everybody's into this popular music. And then I don't know if I was necessarily being a gatekeeper or not, but I was like, no, fuck that music. Like I only care about my genre. I only care about the used. That was like kind of it. It was like, I only care about the used, and nobody gets to enjoy it. Nobody likes it besides me, because you're all into like this pop music stuff. And now, like, even just the fact that I would be like, yeah, I fucking love Halsey, or like the fact that there are so many like bigger artists that are making pop music that are from like a rock background or from an alternative background. The fact that like Billie Eilish is considered alternative is like, that's weird now. Like, that doesn't make sense, but I'm also like, maybe we finally entered a time when we're not gatekeeping so much about genre. We're gatekeeping about, where any gatekeepers are seen as bad. Like it's not as cool to be a gatekeeper anymore. Oh
no, for sure. And that's like a huge thing. Like that's kind of just how it has to be going forward. Cause if gatekeeping continues at the levels that it was before, at least, like small genres are just going to die.
Yeah.
There's not going to be any sort of like adjacent music genres anymore. It's going to be like the poppiest of pop punk, or the metalist of metal.
Yeah.
Or just like butt rock, and then like mainstream rap, and then just pop music. There's going to be like 4 genres, and that's it.
Sometimes it feels that way.
Nobody likes that.
Yeah, nobody wants it.
No,
it feels that way, but it's getting better at least. So, Brompton, let's give you some time here to give some plugs for the people at home. Where can people find the band? Where can people find you? Whatever you want to plug. Cool.
We're pretty much at Wilmette Band on everything.
I mean, yeah.
So that's it.
So
not enough.
Not town of
Wilmette. Short and sweet. Not the town. It's spelled the same way.
Yeah.
Just add band at the end.
Yeah.
and you'll pretty much find us everywhere.
Fantastic.
We're on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Whoever uses Facebook, I don't know. I just use it for memes pretty much.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Instagram. We're just at Wilmette Band.
Sweet.
Everywhere.
And the new EP is self-titled, so it's Wilmette.
The new EP is self-titled. Came out last Friday, right? Yeah, the 25th. No, 2 Fridays ago.
There we go.
It's been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's not 2 weeks because it's only Tuesday. Jesus, oh my God, dude. Time doesn't exist anymore.
Exactly.
This will be out next Monday, so it'll be a couple weeks by then.
So it'll be 2 weeks from. Well, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Time and math
September 25th.
Yeah.
September 25th is when it came out. Yeah, it's self-titled on Mutiny Records. So that's, pretty sick. I dig it a lot. I mean, I'm biased, but I like it.
It's fine to like your own music. It's that Donald Glover bit where it's like musicians are the only people that can't enjoy what they create. Like you don't go into Subway and see somebody making a sandwich and you're like getting a little cocky, aren't we?
Yes. Yeah. Great bit.
I think it's totally fair to like your own music. I hate my old music, but I'm glad that you enjoy your music.
I hate a lot of my old music too. I've been playing in bands for like over 15 years. And so like a lot of the old stuff is not good.
Yeah.
It's like not good at all.
It shows the progression and growth
it shows the
of
growth.
you as a musician.
Yeah.
Some of it is really bad. Just like absolutely just not good music. So, still write some bad songs sometimes. It happens. They can't all be winners. They can't all be winners.
It's all just, it's growth. But it's also like, don't listen to the old shit.
For sure. Absolutely.
Like, let's just take that one down from the internet real quick.
But then there's those people who are going to get pissed if you take down the old music.
Yeah.
There's going to be somebody who loves it. There's going to be somebody who's like, no, that was my favorite song. And you're like, you're not no, you're not allowed. We're taking that away from you. You got to have a new favorite now.
Pick a good one.
I mean, if it's their favorite song, if something that we did in the past or I did in the past, I mean, all the Wilmette songs are good, but some of my other stuff is not good. So if it's something that I did in the past and somebody likes it, cool. I'm glad that you liked it. I don't. So
I make executive decision here, so
I mean, it's cool. I'll leave it up. They can listen to it. I'm not gonna hide where I came from, but I might not ever go back to it and listen.
Not gonna see.
I might just pretend it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. That's fair.
I'm down. Like, if somebody was to like hit us up before a show, and they were just like, "Could you guys just please play this for me?" Like, if it's possible, I'm down to do it. Like, that's fine. I don't mind it. If it's like not possible, like because of like the way that a set is designed, or like we don't have the time, or we would have to take something else out that we actually need to play.
That is much better.
or something. Then but like if it's possible, if it's like a super DIY show, it's like, can we take an extra 3 minutes and play the song for this person? Sure. Why not? Why not do that? It's like, it's 3 minutes that I will never get back, but it's fine. It's
fun. They're having a good time, and I appreciate them having a good time.
Because I mean, they were cool enough to support what I'm trying to do with my life. So the least I could do is give a little bit back to them. So that's cool.
I was going to say if you wanted to shout out what song that might be, but then I'm like, no, if you do it, it's going to call it into creation. Yeah. All of a sudden somebody will come to a show and be like, that's the one, I heard it. You said it. So I don't want to call it into existence if you don't want it to, but I thought it'd be fun.
It's not a Wilmette song, so we don't really have to worry about it today.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. We're great. We're great then.
We're good.
There you go. Good. Anyway, so that is our episode then. Want to thank Brompton for coming on, talking about Wilmette. Go check out.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Check out the record. Check out the band. And then follow them on everything so you know when they're coming back and playing a show near you. And that's the Emo Social Club podcast, and we love you, and goodbye.
Bye.